as the structure to our city and to our region. Landscape does a lot more than just dress up a building. So when designing really good medium density, site context and site planning is really important. You need to understand the cultural significance of the landscape. You need to understand water. Water is one of the most crucial parts of site planning. Good medium density is going to come from good design at the strategic level, at the zoning level, all the way through to implementation. And that's something that needs to be understood through that whole process. You need to invest in design excellence. Design excellence doesn't mean that it's going to cost you more. And we really need to understand what makes good design so that we can make this place, preserve the culture here, the landscape here, and our way of life.
Medium density provides an opportunity for people to have a lifestyle in an amazing place like the Sunshine Coast. They've got access to all the amenities, the beaches, the hinterlands, the vibrant city that we're building here in the centre, but not have to maintain a big lawn, not have to maintain a big mortgage or pay a big rent.
There needs to be a symbiotic relationship between landscape and buildings. So you need to be able to bring that landscape in, like being in those sort of environments where, you've got access to communal open space and to places that just make you feel good. And you can do that with medium density. You don't have to be living in a rural environment or a 600 metre squared lot.
It's kind of that analogy of going for a bushwalk and how it makes you feel, and that's that connection to nature. And having that in the built environment is so critical. But even on the Sunshine Coast, we've got this community of communities where, the Mullaney condition is totally separate to Coolum. You can't just apply one recipe over the whole lot. It's got to be very place specific. Well, it's kind of like being able to sit in a house or an apartment that's all open and have a massive summer rainstorm and still smell the rain and not have to close the whole thing. So you a protected environment, but it's still connected to climate.
As we move into denser urban forms, that landscape structure really needs to happen within our streets. Our streets need to do more heavy lifting from a landscape perspective. Our public open space opportunities need to diversify and grow with that density. They deal with our water, they deal with our people, they've got to provide the shade, they've got to provide ecological corridors. There's lots of things that we need to think about when we're creating these streets because we're losing so much space to development. We need to prioritise, really good canopy trees. We need to challenge where the services are going on their standard alignments. We need to look at all of that so that we can get these big, beautiful streets that we deserve. So this is a really great example about how native vegetation can offset or soften the impact of the built form. It's essentially the same height as the building height, which is fantastic. This is what we want our landscape to do.
I think the vision for this development from the beginning was really walk off the sand, a beautiful, relaxed coastal village lifestyle precinct with connection to water and environment, and I think that offered immense potential for the landscape design in this area. We got to realise that through some large community parkland areas, a natural wetland boardwalk, a boardwalk through to the beach, so all extensions of urban open areas for residents to enjoy. When we're considering the design of those internal spaces, we're really looking to capitalise on the natural light that's afforded in those spaces, the natural ventilation, so improving the microclimate through use of vegetation, which has a cooling effect on those spaces. We're looking at increasing local biodiversity wherever we can, so even the small fragments of external courtyards by using predominantly native and even endemic species where we can. Council and community, they love the space, which I'm really glad because we love the space too, and we put a lot of effort into making sure that these spaces were usable and enjoyable for people that catered for a variety of activities.